Hello, everyone, and welcome to 15 Rounds of Flambé. We are your eternal flame hosts, Aaron and Matthew Johnson.
Anyway, just stop. Thank
I'm
you for making the show, but don't. That's terrible.
I'm
That's just
trying here.
terrible.
Eternal flame. I thought it was good. Welcome to 15 Rounds of Flambé, everybody. It's own sports talk show with my brother Matthew. I'm Aaron Johnson, like we said before in the opening. Today we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, but we're starting off with Larry Brown leaving SMU. Matthew, what do you think about that?
It's just I'm not surprised because as we know, Larry Brown, even though he's a great Hall of Fame coach, he's had some teams, a bunch of teams where he's done well and then left after a few years. He hasn't stayed long in a lot of places, and that's always been a little surprising to me.
That's the thing that gets me too, because even when he was in the NBA, he had that great Detroit Pistons team. I know we're a little bit younger, so everyone else, some of our other viewers will remember him for things he did at Kansas and everything, but before the NBA. But we remember him with Allen Iverson and the Sixers and winning a
And the
championship
Pacers.
and winning a championship with the Pistons, and he never stayed very long. And he had a lot of success at SMU, so it's a little surprising that he's leaving anyway. So I don't know. The news came to a little bit of a shock to me, to be honest with you.
I mean, looking at like just some of the reports and numbers I saw, he resigned after 4 years, just about give or take the number of years he usually stays at schools, and he led the school to their first NCAA tournament since '93. And it was first reported by CBS Sports, and the problem was they thought he was seeking a long-term deal, and they offered him one to 2020, but he wanted a longer one.
The thing that gets me, and the 2020 deal seems a bit long for me anyway, because Larry Brown is 75 years old. Like
Yeah,
that's a long. How much longer is he planning on coaching? Is he going to be in a wheelchair getting rolled up to the court every day? I think 2020 was a fair deal. I don't know the numbers. We haven't gotten the numbers to see exactly how long or how much money he was supposed to be getting over the term of the deal. But this is really going to hurt the SMU program because they were up and coming. They
yeah.
had been doing really well, and this is something that is going to really throw a monkey wrench into their whole program.
I mean, I'm telling you, because I remember when he got hired, we all thought, oh, he's gonna just really change the program and everything. He did. He got them to a tournament. He got them to an NCAA tournament. They almost won the NIT, and they were always constantly ranked. And just it's gonna be interesting to see where they go from here, because they're replacing him with Tom Jankovic, and he's then their assistant on the staff. So I mean, he's learned from Larry, but he's still not
He's
Larry.
not Larry Brown. Now
Yeah.
that brings me to my next question: Is somebody else going to give him a deal? Do you think he'll coach again, or do you think he's done?
I really hope he's not done, but like you said, he's 75. He's been to so many places. He's accomplished so many things. I really don't know. I don't know if he's going to go to college or go to the NBA, or is he just going to stop coaching?
I don't think he wants to go to the NBA. I think he's pretty dead set on staying in college right now. But with that being said, I think that if a team in the NBA or in college comes with the amount of years and the amount of numbers that he's looking for, that he's going to jump ship and he's going to go ahead. I think an NBA transition would be a little bit easier for Larry Brown just because building a program takes years. It does,
Yeah.
and even though he's looking for a long-term deal. Once again, age is a number in this aspect because he can't stay around. He can't go on recruiting trips like he needs to. He can't go around, and yes, I know he might send somebody there, but it's different when you have the head coach there trying to get the top point guard prospect in the state of Texas, trying to get the top point guard in that part of the country. And so being in that situation seems a little rough for me. So I personally think he's done. I don't think a team or a school is going to come around with the right numbers or the right amount of years. I think he had a really good deal in SMU, but per Larry Brown quota, about 4 years he hit, and then he said, "All right, I think I'm good. I think I'm going to move on."
Yeah.
So
I mean, we also talk about how like the NCAA investigation that kind of banned them from the tournament this year.
yeah, they had a
How
good team this year. They really did, but
Yeah, because they started almost undefeated, didn't they?
yeah, they were. I think they were the last. They were the last remaining undefeated team, and Temple beat them. I don't remember what game it was. I don't. I think it might have been somewhere in the teens, but Temple beat them, and they were the last remaining undefeated team in Division One. And to go through all of that and still not be able to make the postseason because of the investigation, because of the NCAA stipulations.
Yeah, I remember that long discussion because I think they were talking about it on Pardon the Interruption because Tony Kornheiser like loves Larry Brown talking about how if this team went undefeated, what would it mean because they couldn't get into the tournament, so they couldn't win the title, so
That would have
regular
been
season,
something too. I
undefeated
didn't.
regular season.
Could you imagine if they would have gone undefeated and not been able to go into the tournament?
That just been so much debate. Are they the greatest team ever? Oh no, you can't. You didn't even get to the tournament. It would have been too much. I thought.
It would have been, who would have been laughing all the way to the bank? The NCAA. The NCAA just would have been like, oh yeah, have your little discussion puppets, and we'll walk all the way to the bank. So it's an interesting topic. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think he's going to coach again. You think he is going to coach again?
I don't.
Gotta
I
get a
mean,
yes or no.
I'm
Give me a yes or
unsure.
a no.
I'm unsure. But if I had to lean one way, I would say no. He's not going to coach again.
You don't think so? All right. Well,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So we're on the same page on that.
Yeah. The news out of New York is that Matt Harvey is ending his 2016 campaign with season-ending surgery. Aaron, how do you feel about the Dark Knight and his Batmobile losing the wheel in his season?
You know, it really it sucks, for lack of a better term. It's really bad for New York Met fans because when you look back over the lore that followed Matt Harvey, Connecticut boy, much like ourselves, when you look at Harvey, look how Met fans were really hyped up about Harvey. It takes me back to another New York team that was hyped up about some young superstar that just fell and crashed and burned to the earth. Let's hope that he's
Oh,
not Mark.
is it Geno Smith?
No, it was Mark Sanchez, but you're on the same path.
Oh no, is it Mark Sanchez?
Yeah, it was Mark
Oh
Sanchez.
wait, no, is it Oh, okay. There's just too many to
Yeah,
number.
there are too many to count, but we're on baseball. We're on
Yeah,
the
I mean,
lovable
yeah,
Mets.
I definitely agree with you because it seemed like when he first came out, this was gonna be like the next Doc Gooden, the next Tom Seaver. He's about to be the next ace in the Mets for the next 15 years. But then he had that great season, I think it was his rookie or his second year,
Hmm.
and then he kind of tailed off. Still had a pretty solid last year, but not as dominant as it was the year before. And this year he was just, I believe, looking at the numbers, he was 4-10 with a 4.86 ERA
Ah,
and 17 starts and a dip in velocity.
those are the
So
kind.
it
Those
was
are the
it was
kind of
just it
numbers and
just he
stats.
didn't get off to a good start at
Those are
all.
those are the kind of numbers and stats that just literally leave a bad taste in your mouth. The thing
Yeah,
that
it
gets me
does.
about Harvey is the fact that this is his second major surgery in what 3 years. He missed all the 2014 season after getting Tommy John surgery. Then he comes back last year. The Mets go to the World Series, and he was a critical member of that pitching staff. If not, he wasn't the guy because that was Syndergaard, but he definitely was someone that was an integral part to their success. And now he comes back this year and he has a terrible year, and now he's got to shut it down for the rest of the season. It's really a sad situation.
It's very interesting because even though, like you said, Syndergaard was their best pitcher, he was still like their number two starter. And that was his first season back from Tommy John surgery. And it's interesting because you see him and you see Steven Strasburg, who's had the same surgery, and he's really like developed into the ace we all thought he was going to be. And looking at the numbers, he pitched Harvey pitched 189 innings last year, and that's his first season back from Tommy John surgery. And the Nationals got very criticized by monitoring Strasburg and making sure he doesn't go so far. But now looking at it, it's interesting to see maybe the Nationals didn't made the right decision in
But the thing that
monitoring.
I remember that when the Nationals did that, and the thing that got me about the Nats doing that, and the reason why I have no problem with Harvey throwing 180 innings, whatever it was, the number that you just said, the reason
89.
why the reason why I have no problem with that is because, excuse me, because they were making a playoff push, a playoff run. They made it to the World Series last year. I remember when they were talking about shutting Strasburg down, and I do believe the Nationals ended up shutting Strasburg down in the middle of a pennant race, and it's something that I can't condone that because he's out there to win games, he's out there to pitch, and he's out there to be the face of the franchise. He's out there to get wins and put butts in the seats, as some people like to say. But you can't get wins, you can't do that if he's not there. So shutting Strasburg down, even though in I guess foresight it looks like it was a good decision, or in hindsight, excuse me, it looks like it was a good decision. But I don't like that because at the end of the day, you need to have the guys on the field so they can produce and so you can get wins.
I mean, for the longest time, I had a very similar thing, but actually, just because looking at Harvey and looking at Strasburg, I would, even though you're in the middle of a pennant race and you want to win the World Series that year, I rather have 8 to 10 years of constant pennant races with this ace instead of just going for it all now. And if we don't win the World Series, then we just wasted this great talent we had.
But you don't know if you're going to be in a pennant race every single year with a guy like that. And with Harvey, that was the plan. That was the plan with Harvey. And the Mets are, truthfully, the Mets are still in good shape right now. This is how I look at it.
That's the thing.
The Mets are in second place. They're still in good
shape
shape.
this season, and they're still only a few games back from the Nationals. They're up there in the National Wild Card. So.
That's it. Bartolo Colon just got announced as another member to the All-Star game, which is great for Bartolo.
Put him in the home run derby.
Oh my goodness, it's so great to watch. Bartolo Colon literally makes he makes me feel good every time he steps on the mound.
I actually read a quote today. He's going to be the oldest pitcher, I believe, to play in the All-Star game, and second oldest. So the oldest is Satchel Paige, who I believe is 49.
Oh my goodness!
And they asked him, because if he does come up to a bat, he will be the oldest player since, I believe, Carlton Fisk in 1991. And he said, like, how do you feel about that? And he said, I pray to God I don't go to the play.
He's great. Like he's just so great. And the good for Bartolo Colon. But the Mets are, like I said, still in good shape. Syndergaard's 9-3, I think, this year. I think Steven Matz, who's been a really solid pitcher for them, is 4-7 this season. So the Mets have pitching. It's
just the issue is, I mean, for the longest time, I don't know about the talk in New York and Connecticut was trade one of these pitchers, get another bat. But now in hindsight, it does kind of see the need for having a bunch of arms in case one of them goes down, because Harvey's down, and Zach Wheeler, he's supposed to be coming back soon, but he's still not there yet.
Yeah, and the way that I look at it is when it boils down to it, the Mets are going to be in the race, and it's going to be, do they have enough horses to get back to where they need to be? Because when you look at their staff and you look at their bats, because Cespedes is looking like he's just going to continue to hit the cover off the ball and be the big bat that they needed in the middle of that order. So when you look at the Mets, when you look at that whole National League, it's setting up for them to make another push to the World Series, but this is going to be a big blow, because when it comes down to postseason, like we grew up listening to our father say, or even just watching baseball all our lives, great pitching in the postseason will forever and always beat great hitting. And the Mets have pretty decent hitting, pretty decent above average hitting, but they always had that solid above average to great pitching staff, and this is really going to put a dent into that. And so yeah. I want to see how they're going to do. I don't. This is going to be a big blow.
I mean, even though he's gone 4-10, they're still really close to the playoffs right now. So
imagine
the guy they're going to replace him with, he just has to be, I guess, average or a little above average at this point.
Imagine if he didn't go 4-10.
if he was 10-4, I guess, then they would probably be leading the division, maybe even
They would be leading the division, and they would be in conversation with the Cubs for the best team in the National League.
Yeah.
We're going to close out our last episode today on 15 Rounds of Flambé, talking about a little bit of the social issues that have been going on in around the country. We both got family down in Dallas, and one of our cousins was actually at the rally last night where everything just kind of went crazy. And today, Carmelo Anthony came out and had a quote talking about how he thinks that athletes should go ahead and step up in times of social distress in the country. He said in a Instagram post, we have a little bit of a quote from the Instagram post. He said, in quote, "We have to step up and take charge. We can't worry about what endorsements we're going to lose or who's going to look at us crazy. I need our voice to be heard. We can demand change. We just have to be willing to. The time is now. I'm all in. Take charge, take action, demand change." End quote. Peace 7, hashtag stay mellow. There's a 7 in there, kind of threw me off. But Matthew, my question is to you: do you think that Carmelo has a point here in saying that athletes do have a moral responsibility and are obligated to step out in front of some of these social issues?
I feel that's a very tough, I guess, area to tackle. Because as an athlete, you have so much influence over so many people. So it really does help, but it's just I immediately thought of the Ali Summit, especially with Muhammad Ali's passing a few months ago. I thought of the Ali Summit when him, Kareem, Jim Brown, and Bill Russell, and a few other athletes and civil rights leaders, they came and supported Muhammad after he decided not to go to Vietnam because of his religious beliefs. So I like that, and I saw recently today that Von Miller said he donated a custom SUV and $25,000 to a local fire department and police department there in Texas. So I like that athletes get involved, but it's a weird area to tackle. I guess depends. I guess.
I have to disagree with you because I think that athletes are obligated and not well maybe obligated is not the right word, but I think they should want to step up, especially star athletes because and you touched on it. They have such a big influence on the community. Growing up, me and you watched baseball players, basketball players, football players. Kids now watch baseball players, basketball players, football players, and so they're in their communities, they're in their neighborhoods, and yes, they have to hit a certain level or a certain quota based off of whatever the organization or whatever the league says. But I still think they need to go above and beyond, and I think there are some athletes that have done that in the past, like you touched on Ali, and that's what made Ali so great. Wasn't only the fact that he was great in the ring, but he was great in the fact that his social awareness was at a level that I don't think we've really seen from an athlete,
No.
except for maybe in small capacities. But in that situation, I think that things, especially in today's day and age, are getting so just crazy. There's no other way to put it. Just they're crazy, and I feel like a lot of NBA players I'm singling out the NBA because when you think about the issues that are going on now, and you think about the majority of athletes that are in the NBA being African American, there is a level of change that
Responsibility.
responsibility. They can really do something.
I am very much a fan of this, I guess, new era of athletes because, like you said, Carmelo's spoken up and LeBron's done that in the past. And it seemed like amongst the superstars in the '90s, maybe there were more, and I just weren't unaware of them. But it just seemed like only Charles Barkley was like the only one who ever like stood up and everything, and he would get very criticized and everything. But I do like how a lot of these athletes are more aware of what's going on around them. That there is more to life than just a ball or something.
And something that I think is, in going back to what Melo said, that really is something that's important is you got to throw away the endorsements because I know even though that brings in a lot of money, and we can all understand where make your money. I have no issues with anybody doing what they're supposed to do, trying to better their lives. But if you're not going to sign a contract with an organization or if an organization has something in the contract that says that we want you to address social issues quietly or not address them at all, why are you signing a contract with that organization? You're sending a message right there that some things are more important than others. And if Nike's say we have a $3 million shoe deal here, but when something hits the fan and they don't want you to comment on it, then that's not right. It's a breach of contract if you say something out into the social world. If you address you take a social stance on a controversial topic. I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I don't think that's an organization or an endorsement that you want to have. And so I think athletes need to take that stance. And it's anything at this point. I'm willing to have anything happen, to be honest with you, because it's getting kind of scary. But at this point, I think that they just need to realize that they have a great impact on society, and they need to step up to the plate.
Even though it has had like a bunch of issues, I really do like how Twitter. Because it seems like before athletes and fans were a lot more disconnected by like just there was just a space in between them. But now with Twitter, like it's like so close to each other now, so athletes can actively talk and like contact their fans and just bring up issues that they would like to talk about.
Exactly. The media is there. The media is definitely there. The medium is definitely there. So there's a lot of things that they can do. Like you said, you touched about Twitter. And Melo had this post on Instagram, and it's just there needs to be more done. Like I said, the position that they're in. Charles Barkley famously said, "I'm not a role model," but then he realized once he got older that you actually are a role model. So I think that when it boils down to it, athletes, especially the star athletes, because the star athletes have the names, the Steph Currys, the LeBron James, the Carmelo Anthony's, the Dwayne Wade's, the Tom Brady's. Even though I hate Tom Brady so much. I just hate Tom Brady. But the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Manning's, the star athletes that everyone looks at and looks up to, they're the ones that I think need to take the lead on something like this.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today on 15 Rounds of Flambé. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down here on the bottom. We're gonna really need you to do that. Thanks a lot. Also, what we're trying to do here with our show, me and Matthew really enjoy doing this, and we really want to bring up the production level. We want to have lights. We want to have better lighting, better couple things in the background.
Oh, better microphones because a lot of issues today.
What he said, definitely on the microphone level. But yeah, help us with our GoFundMe page. Link is going to also be in the description below. And I'm wearing the jersey today. Matthew's got a hat on. Fridays, we're going to kind of shake it up a little bit. Casual Fridays. We're going to have to shake it up a little bit. Jerseys, hats, all that kind of good stuff. But we're going to be back again next week. Hope you guys enjoy and hope to see you next week. Have a good one.